Yep. We're live.
Alright. What's up?
Hey! First podcast in a while, boys.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know, man. I'm like
a week.
Wow.
it's been 2
How long
weeks.
is a while? However long you want it to be. That's the answer. Anyways, we back. We here. Mace would be proud. No one gets that reference but me, and I'm sad.
Ace Windu?
Exactly. Black people out there, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, Mace, the rapper. Welcome back. Anyway.
I have no clue.
What?
So
Yeah.
Mace Windu.
as a very white individual,
I mean,
I'm
so
lost.
you can like if you like 90s hip hop, you'd get the reference. That was unfair. There's a lot of people out there that would. But anyway,
Damn. I'm gonna need the score logo.
Yeah,
Jedi mind tricks.
You will. But Jedi mind tricks was underground, so I mean that's all right. There's a lot of people. There's probably some black people that wouldn't get that one either. But anyway, so we are talking about a bunch of things today. Let me pull the docket back up because I got distracted again because I do that.
Be sure we have our She-Hulk review.
Yes, we have our She-Hulk review.
Thank
It
you.
is podcast 37. We are doing Comcasting, taking G4 behind the shed and shooting
Behind
in the
the
back of the
music.
head for the second time. Rose back from the dead, like any good Revenant would. And of course, gets taken around back of the head and shot again because that's what you gotta do to zombies when they come back. It was a legacy of a bypassed era.
Right.
But yes, we're gonna talk about the G4 getting canceled for the second time. We're gonna talk about the Bayonetta news and the whole Hellena Taylor drama. Even though it's like a week or two old, but it's been a back and forth. It's been up and down. It's been a he said she said. What's the real story here?
It's pretty much over though.
So at this point,
the other guy was literally.
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
It's over.
But
it's over.
But yeah, it is over now. But we'll talk about it. We're gonna talk about RE4 remake stuff. Matt is our resident RE head, as well as Quint. I've watched someone play RE, but I'm not an expert, so they're gonna know more about it than I do.
I've seen someone play it,
Yeah, I mean, I like RE,
Usually
but like it's I'm not, I haven't like spent like 60 hours playing it, so on like every platform, and it's on every platform.
Fair.
So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, about remakes in general, and the RE showcase, and then we're just gonna round out with some other whatever dumb stuff that has happened in the last 2 weeks.
That'll probably be it, but we'll see.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for time. So having not been on the podcast for a couple weeks myself, do we normally just hop into the topics now? Do we do like?
Hell yeah, we do. We
don't
just
do
blaze the
Question of the Week?
trail.
We delve right in there.
We don't do questions of the week. Is that
We didn't. Well, we could do questions of the week. We just don't have one for this week.
All right.
Kind of unprepared,
So okay, quick question of the week.
Backlog standard.
Really quick one. Did you guys do anything for Halloween this year? Anything?
Tomorrow.
You know what I mean? The Halloween season. Did you do anything? Did you go to any parties? Did you eat candy?
Nope, I ate candy.
Did you
make a pumpkin? I'm a child.
Make a pumpkin pie.
Man, sir.
Carve a jack-o'-lantern. Anything.
What did I do? I wound up
watch a horror movie.
I wound up staying home. I edited some videos.
Really spooky videos?
They scared me.
Hey, the editing scared me.
Yeah. I was supposed to get this, I had a good lead on an apartment. Got, a message saying I got rejected from that. That was pretty horrifying.
Adulting is scary.
Yeah.
Pretty horrifying.
Hey, it's tough when, you put a lot of work into it. And you're like, all right, I think this is going well. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, I'm working with someone. They're gonna I'm gonna give them the apartment.
Dude, maybe that was the lesson there. The okay, how do I put this? This is gonna sound terrible, but like, I feel like parents in the 90s were like, get used to getting your dreams crushed. But they did it the wrong way. They should have been like, but keep going. Like, it needs to be hopeful. Like, it needs to be about like getting used to having your dreams crushed, but staying resilient, not just like lie down under the bus and just stay there. You know what I mean?
Just run you over.
Yeah.
Well, I can only be run over by so many buses before, I can't move anymore, right?
Yes,
so...
but like, they're hoping you'll be the 1 in a million who becomes impervious to being run over by a bus.
Get isekai'd instead.
Yeah, or that.
Isekai Trucku.
Yeah, bus cutting. But I need to get back to watching Uncle from Another World, BT Dubs, because Uncle from Another World is great.
Still never saw it.
Yeah, it's good. But okay, so Quintessence, did you watch any horror movies? Did you do any Halloween-y type shit?
I watched a little bit of Saint Maud. It wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy that movie. It's a horror movie. It's about like a devout nun type person who's also a nurse, and she's taking care of like an older actress / dancer. And it gets just really weird with kind of like, big supernatural vibes, like the devil and stuff like that, inhabiting bodies.
Yeah.
I wasn't big on it.
Honestly, if we had more time and energy, it would have been really fun if we had done a bad Halloween movie marathon, because I would love to watch that. What's that, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, he fights the devil Halloween movie from the 90s? Is it End of Days?
It's End of Days, yeah.
End of Days. Yeah, the movie's terrible, but it's like great terrible.
No, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
It's fine. We can watch our Christmas Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
We can.
With Turbo Man.
With Turbo Man.
Tell me I'm wrong that's not the best, like, other than The Grinch, that's not the best 2000s Christmas movie. Other than Elf, maybe.
Yeah, I like Arthur Christmas a lot.
What's Arthur Christmas?
Arthur Christmas? It takes
the
super
character Arthur?
technical. No.
Okay.
It takes like a super like technological take on Santa. So like he's just like, it has like a fucking giant like air carrier in the sky that he can like deliver gifts from and stuff.
Is this like an anime? Neat. This sounds anime as fuck.
No.
Damn.
It's just an animated movie.
Word. Alright, cool. Yeah, Techno Santa is kind of neat.
Techno Santa.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's a great episode of the 90s Tick cartoon where I think he had to fight either a bunch of Robo Santas or like there was some type of like magical curse that was making Santas, and he had to like destroy them all by midnight. Otherwise, like Christmas wouldn't happen. It was a fun little episode. It was a good 90s show. But yeah,
I've always liked like the Futurama episodes or the American Dad episoed.
I think
or the freaking Robot Chicken where they combined Christmas and Dragon Ball Z. That was fantastic.
Dude, holiday themed episodes are a lost art. Like the Halloween episodes of like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the old one, the 90s one, were some of my favorite episodes of the whole show. They were just fun. Halloween episodes of Community were pretty fun. Even though everyone like complains about the gas leak year, quote unquote, the zombie episode was kind of dumb but fun.
Season 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the sad thing that we're gonna lose in moving into like a streaming only model of television is that because you don't have shows that run their like 22 weeks, you're gonna miss out on a lot of like holiday episodes where holiday episodes were like super fun.
I don't think we're gonna miss out on them at all.
I personally I will
shoehorned in like where like the holiday would be in like normal, because that's how they've been doing it for like American Dad. American Dad's continuously had like their holiday episodes, and they just like kind of fit it in wherever.
That's what I'm saying. That's still a network show. That's not a streaming only model show. It ends up on streaming, but the show, I think the first episodes pop on network and then they go on to stream.
Really, I thought it was down to streaming only at this point.
Yeah, I want to say it still comes on Cartoon Network.
I don't have cable anymore.
Most people don't. A lot of people don't. But anyway, horror movies for this year. I didn't really have much time to do a marathon. I've heard Halloween Ends is terrible or controversial. Those are the only two opinions I've heard. I've heard very few saying it was good. I think they make a lot of very specific choices, but I haven't seen it yet. I've heard some halfway decent things about the new Hellraiser, but I never got around to watching it. I've heard Barbarian is amazing. I think it finally came out on HBO, and everyone's been probably saying it's like the best horror movie of the year. But I haven't got a chance to watch it. Hopefully we'll get to. And there's a couple other things I wanted to watch. I wanted to watch the new Cronenberg, but I never got to see that. But yeah, it's been an okay spook season. For me, I went to Spirit Halloween. That was cool. Picked up some stuff. Costumes are way too expensive, but I bought one, so hopefully I'll get to reuse it because those cost mad money. But tis what it is. Tis what it is.
Yep.
But yeah, I hope everyone had a fun like spook season. I guess you know what I mean. I think there are very few. There are few holidays that allow even adults to be silly, and Halloween is one of them. So that's kind of cool.
I can't wait to have me personally. I'm just gonna have my own Halloween party with me and myself. And I've already bought all the
alcohol,
the stuff.
Nice. You got all your costumes behind you, right there?
Costumes behind me. I got all the decorations, and yeah.
For anyone who's listening to this on audio, Matt's like hanging closet is behind him, so that's the joke we're making.
That's
But anyway.
Hey, you know what else spooks me out? How about She-Hulk season 1? Whoa, that was scary.
Whoa.
How about that? Whoa.
Yeah, I've only wasted like 15 minutes, guys.
Yeah, only.
That's not even.
Hey, you know what?
Done.
That's not even. That, that's
It's been like 12 minutes.
That's not even a record for you. So.
Yeah, it's not. It's not even close.
Like,
I saw August waste 40 minutes talking about Street Fighter. A game he doesn't play.
Yeah, yo, so how about that? How about that? Yo, Red, thank you for the likes. What'd you guys think of She-Hulk? August? No, actually, no. Quintessence.
Is it my turn again?
Quintessence. Why don't you talk?
Me? Yeah. Okay, so I wasn't the biggest fan of She-Hulk throughout its run. It never really like wormed its way into my heart or anything like that. I felt like its strongest episodes were actually the collaboration episodes.
Between who and who? Or do you want to spoil
basically, that? When Wong is on, or when we have
the crossover
Mr. DD, you know? Yeah.
Crossover
/ collabs. Yeah. So like I felt like those episodes actually held together because they could have some kind of like coherent storyline going, whereas a lot of the episodes seem to continue to meander around a lot.
Yeah.
And get nothing done. Controversially, I actually enjoyed the final episode of She-Hulk.
That's a hot take. That's a you take.
It is a me take, because the last episode was actually the closest to comic She-Hulk that we have gotten. Like, she solved it in a very like comic She-Hulk kind of way, and I felt like that was neat. Like, the writers finally, threw us a freaking bone if we enjoyed the comics.
Right.
Instead of this, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want to say it's a travesty.
Travesty is strong, but okay. So, what did you think? Like, if we're gonna talk about substance over style, what did you think of the parts? Like, what did you think of how the lead actress did? What did you think of how the side characters did? What did you think of the acting?
Okay, so I felt like the lead actress did fine. The acting in the show overall was solid. Like, there did seem to be like a large like I guess gap in like the acting talent between some characters, which was odd at times. Like basically anytime like a one-off character or like a two-off character was on, their acting was noticeably, consistently like much worse.
Yeah. Are you
And I
saying
felt like it dragged some things down.
like are we saying Megan Thee Stallion's a not trained actress?
we might be saying this, yes. Yeah, that might be what I'm saying.
You know, I mean, that's the trick with celebrity cameos.
Woo!
Can they hit their marks? No, I mean, okay.
Man.
So throwing, I mean, but like that was the joke of the cameo was the cameo. You know, you don't always expect like people who aren't actors by trade to always be great.
Yeah.
But
I mean, also like the people like she dated, for example, they weren't very good actors.
I thought they hit their marks. It was just they were supposed to be unlikable characters because it was an analogy for like, you know, modern dating and how dehumanized
I felt like,
it is. Yeah.
I felt like they were just kind of like stiff and lifeless.
So like, I mean, like Matt's probably been on more dates than a lot of other people. I bet he's been on some dates that were stiff and lifeless. So
I mean, that's fair.
I think maybe that is like, you know, when you're meeting someone for the first time, things aren't going well. Sometimes it probably feels robotic. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Matt? Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Matt? How do you feel about the substance of
the dating
characters?
No, of the show.
The characters
of the show.
Like not as a whole, but the moving parts of the show. What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it?
The story.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of with you on the story, but we'll get back to that. Sorry, Matt. Didn't mean to interrupt.
The show's fine. I liked it. I didn't have any really huge issues with the show. It was a little silly at times. I think the CG kind of took me out of it. Yeah, I didn't always think that the acting was the best, but I looked at it as like a stupid, silly show, and I'm okay with everything that really happened. I don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Really much of anything.
I agree with you in more of the fact that I don't think it's one of those things where like I appreciate they decided to make a joke show because that was a choice.
Yes.
Do I agree all the jokes landed? Absolutely not. Or I am on that. Like, I like the fact that they made a joke show because there were some shows that I think took themselves way too seriously. Moon Knight took itself way too seriously.
It took itself very seriously.
Yeah. For how dumb that show was, in my opinion, that show took itself way too seriously. And I would say a couple of the other Marvel shows also kind of have a bad habit of taking themselves seriously. Like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm like, that show needed more jokes. With all the dumb shit that happened in that show, I
still haven't finished that.
Oh, that show could have been better.
It's funny because a lot of people...
It's just not... Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's a lot of people really like that show. Or it's like, it seems like a very divisive season. Where it's like, it's sort of like, you know, it could go either way.
Yeah. I love what that show tried to say. I think it just, or what it tried to do, I think it just missed the mark on being enjoyable, if that makes any sense. Like, everything they tried to do, I don't have a problem with. It's how they did it, and how they didn't really balance levity or anything else with a lot of the heavy subject matter. It wasn't, it's just not, like, it's a good show that's not enjoyable, if that makes any sense.
You know, I did like aspects of it. I don't think the entire thing is like, I'll put it this way, I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, I gotta watch, you know what I gotta watch again?
Yeah.
Is that Falcon and the Winter Soldier Season 1.
Yeah.
You know,
man, remember when Falcon and Winter Soldier did the stuff? God, that was awesome.
Like, anytime they were together and working on a mission, it was like, okay, I like this. But anytime they were kind of like apart from each other and on their own, I was sort of like, okay, you know.
They needed to work on, even though they had good chemistry, they needed to show me it. Don't just tell me it's good, show me it. And like, I needed more of it. I needed more of the buddy cop. And like, maybe we didn't have time for that, but like, that would have made me like the show more, because there just weren't enough light moments in that show. It was just very heavy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like a buddy cop movie, but instead of having like the third act where like, oh, there's like a lie revealed or something like that, and the buddy cops like break up for a while, that was like the whole show almost.
Yeah,
there was a long period of time where they weren't even together, but but sorry to digress. She-Hulk.
Yeah, She-Hulk. Yeah. No, as I said, I think it kind of speaks to that weird point where like Marvel has perfected the movie formula. They're still figuring out the show formula.
Yes.
And that's where we kind of run into weird issues here, because there's some shows that feel like long movies that actually suffer from it because there's too much downtime. I think Moon Knight's the clearest example. I thought you could have cut episodes 3 and 4 and been fine, and it would have been a streamlined narrative.
Felt like Moon Knight went a fucking breakneck pace. There was nothing slow about that show.
I was asleep during episodes 3 and 4, but that's me. That's a side issue.
Oh my god, that movie was just on go.
Moon Knight
on the gas.
Moon Knight the show. Moon Knight. Okay, disagree. Agree, disagree.
On go.
Moon Knight. Agree, disagree. But so back to She-Hulk. I loved the deconstruction of narrative in that, like, we don't have to tell a super linear story every episode. I appreciated that. On the one hand, it makes me question your ability to tell an overall narrative, because if they had done a better job of that, I would be happy with the whole season. And that's kind of where I'm mad the show broke down, is that, how do I put this? The final episode literally was like, you know that plot we've been running all season? Well, we don't like it either. Throw the pages out. And I'm like, what? No! That's so anti-narrative. It's like, why? Like, I actually cared where the narrative was kind of like, give me an idea. Give me a, like, what would have happened. Give me a, like, okay, we wanted to change the ending to this, so it's this. But no, literally they're like, okay, we're going to do this big meta joke, then skip the ending, and then happily ever after and throw some Easter eggs into the next thing. I'm like, you can't just ignore the plot you've been building all season. The last episode triggered me on a narrative level, because it was so anti-narrative. It's just like, wait a minute. So you're just basically saying, fuck your own storyline? Like, you can't. I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know if that's proper form in writing, to just being like, no, we reject our own narrative. I'm like, is that a thing that you can do? I don't know, dude. Like, to me that seems gauche. That seems bad form as when you make literature.
I think this is it. It's very sorry guys. Hold on, I gotta close the door. So this is a very August problem, and I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just like, if I was gonna pick a reason why you'd be upset about the show, it would be how something isn't ordered the way you want it to be. And it's like, obviously the story is like, it builds up a narrative, and then essentially it's just like, all right, well, we're gonna flip this whole thing on its head. And of course you're like, no, you did this thing, you committed to it, and you gotta finish it. And that is like the most August, I'm mad about this, that they didn't commit to this thing that they started. That's so, to me, that's like a big you-ism.
Fair enough.
Thank you for the likes envelope. Oh man,
appreciate it. Yeah, but I mean, like, no, like, as someone who consumes a lot of media in general, I would be like, in what world is it in what world is it the common choice to delete your own narrative? And not even delete your own narrative, but so forcefully being like, no, we reject narrative in general. Like, that just seems weird. And like, it's such a deconstructionist way that I'm like, but like, your deconstruction isn't necessarily even making a point. Like, or not the point you think it is. Like, I don't like it on a level of just like literary consistency, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think so. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think they did. I liked what they did, because
if they wanted to trigger people, they managed.
They just decided to make a bunch of meta commentary and talk to the fan base directly through this last episode, and how people were giving everyone a hard time about, like, oh, they're saying this and that about about the show itself, which they predicted all of that through the show. It was super predictable.
Yeah,
and then
I agree.
they're literally like, okay, well, all these people are having issues with the show, blah blah blah, and then they also like addressed the issues with Phase 4 and how essentially it's like uh they address issues with Phase 4 and how everything has to build up to like one big event or whatever it may be, and they kind of don't do anything with it. And then also like I don't know, I thought it was great. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool.
You did enjoy the last episode.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think it's honestly it's a great way to get.
That's my complaint. Yeah,
I think they knew it was going to be like the most divisive show out of all of them. Yeah. But I mean, I don't. I thought it was interesting.
So I guess it's weird for me to explain this because I'm starting off with the thing I least liked about the show, but on the whole, I love the show. It's probably my third favorite show of every of the Marvel shows, and like it's really in that category of top 3. I like different things about them. Like the ranking is not really fair to them even, because I love a lot of what this show does. It's the first show that I think tries to tackle. How do I put this? It is the first show that I believe has a female main character, and tries to handle what the world looks like through a superpowered female lens. Especially a superpowered female that's suddenly stronger than all her male counterparts. I find that very interesting as for storytelling purposes. The thing that annoys me is that like they did a great job of that, but they could have done so much more with it. Would it have lost its nature as a joke show? Maybe, but I think they could have done more with that. That said, I love the show we got. And like, not everything has to be some like big profound statement on whatever. Sometimes you can just have fun. And I had a lot of fun. I was almost annoyed because like these writers were so good and so talented. Yes, not every joke landed, but I still had a lot of fun doing it. But even more so, any of the episodes where they had to do something, they did it so competently. I'm like, you guys are wasting your talents. Like, you're so good. You could be writing for regular Marvel. And then we're like, the Daredevil crossover episode, easily one of the best episodes of the show, if not every single one of the Marvel shows that has been made. That was just an enjoyable episode from start to finish. I'm like, I want every crossover to feel like that. This was great. Everyone was fun. I think they understood the Daredevil character. And then they understood him so well, they're like, we can take that same character you normally see him as like a mopey, broody dude and make him fun for once. Because, yeah, the dude still kind of likes to have fun. He certainly gets laid.
He's honestly my favorite character in the entire season.
And that's what I'm saying. He is a cameo character. Like, and he is so much fun.
And not only that, but they like took him and they like gave him like a whole nother layer of like, I want to see these two together. This is like this is like an actual really good couple that has like really great chemistry.
Yeah,
I wanted to see more of that.
It's really interesting. Like, I actually saw a quote on that today. I can't remember which. It was some famous director. It might have been what's his name, dude? Titanic dude. But he was basically saying
James Cameron.
That, like, yeah, I can't. It was somebody. I can't remember who. I don't want to throw James Cameron under the bus, but they're making the observation that like Marvel characters don't act like real people. In the sense that, I mean, they're not real people, obviously.
Oh.
In the sense that they don't have.
Ironic if James Cameron said that.
Yeah, I know. But in the sense that they don't have functioning interpersonal relationships. Like, he basically said they act like college and they don't have relationships. And I'm like, you know what? That's an accurate observation. None of them have functioning interpersonal relationships. And as an adult, I would like to see humans. I would like to see characters that have semi-functional interpersonal relationships, because I think that's a better commentary on the human experience. So I would like to see, like, Jen and Matt being together. I'm like, is this what a semi-normal superhero relationship looks like? Because we've never gotten to look at that in the Marvel Universe yet. We've never gotten to look at an adult relationship of two superheroes yet. That seems in any way workable.
Thank you for the bits and sub, Bagel. Appreciate it.
Like, we had hints at Bruce Natasha could have been a thing, but it was Avengers 2, and that movie already had too much going on. We didn't get anything there, really.
You know,
We get hints of relationships, but we don't get a visual of what it looks like.
What, and that's the thing is, like, I think that, in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think She-Hulk is probably, like, so far the best fleshed out female superhero that Marvel has ever had.
It's the most human story, even.
and so I think she's the best fleshed out female superhero, because when you look at someone like Black Widow, and even like maybe Kate Bishop has like probably maybe the second best, and then maybe Black Widow's sister, and it might be around the same tie between her and Black Widow. I don't know, but I just don't like. I wasn't really drawn to those characters because they weren't really given any kind of, I don't know, they weren't given much shine really, other than, well, she's like a somewhat of a caring person, but she's also like a tragic character, but she's sacrificed essentially. I don't know. I think that this shows how much potential that story could have actually had, and like how bad that movie actually was.
Which movie?
Black Widow. The movie Black Widow.
Oh,
like I mean,
bruh.
like, I don't think it's a terrible movie. I just think it could have been so much better with
that's
yeah.
I think that's why people like Yelena a lot better, or are going to, once they get more Yelena.
She's hilarious.
She feels like a real human being, though. Scarlett Johansson's character doesn't. She's far too understated. In the character as written, you don't know what their internal dialogue is. And like maybe that's a problem with writing or showing superheroes in general, because superheroes are written to perform a function, and then they're written as, they try to make them human after that, but like a top-down approach, whereas She-Hulk felt like the first bottom-up approach. Like, we're gonna make a character that's human and relatable, and then give her superpowers, and then wonder what she would do. And that's a way better character study, because A, it's more relatable, B, it's more interesting. So I mean, I know we're getting to the level of like narrative analysis, but at the same time, like, I think a lot of people connected with She-Hulk because she's simply a relatable human being. Like, you see her being depressed, you see her do all these other things that is a human experience, versus like Black Widow. Like, you don't understand her internal whatever, because that's not the way the character is written. And if you did, it would be really depressing, because their childhood is all trauma.
For whatever reason, too, with the Black Widow movie, as well as like whatever it tried to do and make me connect to that character, it just didn't.
It was bad. It was a really movie.
It was kind of a bad. It like came, and I think it also came way later than it should have. Obviously, with it should have come before.
Yeah.
Is it Infinity War, or is it Endgame that she sacrifices herself? I can't remember. I think it's Endgame.
It's Infinity War.
Is it Infinity War?
It's Infinity War, because then what's his name does the whole Ronin thing, right?
Yes.
No, it is Endgame. It is Endgame, because they go back in time. No, you're right. It's Endgame. Okay, yeah.
I just think like they would also have her play like a lot of different like characters after. They kind of like have her be like these sort of filler, padded characters. Like, oh well, now she works kind of at Avengers HQ, and she kind of connects everybody together, and it's like, all right, well then, but who is she though? Like, other than a stressed out individual? I don't know. But yeah, like I thought they did a great job. She's the first superhero that I want to see female superhero that I felt was fleshed out well. Yeah. I'm kind of bummed that I want to see her in a movie, but also like the amount of the pace that they hit with this show with her, I'm almost like, don't ruin that. Like, just let her be a lawyer, like a street lawyer, a street superhero. Like, let her do her own thing. Maybe not even like have her be an Avenger, because then you have to like make so many different. I don't know. I almost don't think that this phase is ready. I don't think this version of the Avengers is ready yet for that to even happen.
I think that's kind of the joke that was made in the final episode, is Disney is now, for better for worse, it's a thing. It's almost the Google of movies, or at least it's the Google of superhero movies. It's staying. But how do we manage that? I mean, I think now it has so many moving parts. I think it's actually starting to hurt the movies, You're seeing how the movies and the properties are getting weaker and weaker and more diluted and less able to tell a great story, or at least a story that connects with everyone. Because it's so big now. There's so many moving parts. And I think writing characters like this that are intrinsically relatable to people are a step in the right direction. But that takes more care. It takes more delicacy. It takes more work to make writing that good. And I would worry that if they rushed her into a movie, they would just make her how Bruce was in the first couple of movies, where he's a plot device more than he's a character. He has a character, but he's definitely a plot device. In Avengers, he was definitely a plot device. Avengers 2.
Yeah, and you can't really say that Hawkeye is too much better either. You know, I mean, I guess
Hawkeye got his best characterization in his own show.
I mean, I would even argue. I mean, hey, look, I'm not the best. I don't really like Hawkeye, so.
I loved Hawkeye. Goddamn.
I mean, I wish it was if it was called Kate Bishop. I mean, I probably.
But it was, so that's what I'm saying. This was, to me, like.
I don't think the show is about Hawkeye. It's not.
But that's what I'm saying. Throw Multiverse of Madness in the trash. This was the best, let's train someone to be my replacement show Marvel has made. Hawkeye was easily the best, like, I'm going to train the next me that they've done so far. Because it shows the differences between the two, but at the same time, it shows how one can teach the other how to be a better hero.
I don't think
and they can both teach each other, honestly.
I don't think that Multiverse of Madness was intentionally made to be, this is my apprentice. I don't, it wasn't.
What it ended up being.
No,
what it ended up being.
No, because American Chavez isn't like the Sorcerer Supreme. It's
but
it just
you
introduces
know what I
another
mean.
character.
You're
saying like introducing a new character who's essentially acts as the MacGuffin to the show, to the movie.
Yeah.
Who becomes the Sky Portal? I don't know, not really, but
yeah.
Wait, was there a Sky Portal in that?
I don't know. Let's
it doesn't matter.
Sky Portal jokes aside, She-Hulk is great. I love She-Hulk.
I liked it too.
Some of the jokes could have been funnier. She-Hulk is great. I love the idea of let's write a show from the female perspective and see how that is. Like, maybe men would eventually start to understand that, like, you know, it's not all fun and games for women. I don't know. A great show. But at the end of the day, I think it could have been better executed. I wish they would have gotten more episodes, because the 30-minute count was like, man, it's over too quick. I need more. Like, it's like cracked to my system. Like, if it's like, we only got 3 episodes, but the episodes were half the length. You could have given me another 3 episodes. I wouldn't have complained.
I thought it was perfectly fine in length.
I would have taken a couple more just because I had so much fun with it. But I mean, I realize that's not.
They didn't have any story to tell.
Ooh, and that's the point I was gonna make. Give me a little bit of an overarching story. Like, give me a hit, because I don't know what happens now. Is the blood just completely thrown away? Are we ignoring that narrative? Probably not, because we just recast Thunderbolt Ross, which, spoilers for comic people, or people who don't know the comics, if you know anything about Thunderbolt Ross, eventually they do get a sample of Hulk's blood, and they make the Red Hulk out of that, and that becomes Thunderbolt Ross, and they just cast Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross. Rest in peace, William Hurt, who played the character previously.
Oh, wait, he passed away?
Yeah, William Hurt, the guy who played Ross, you see him in Black Widow last, passed away, unfortunately. So
I'm surprised, like, Harrison Ford would even be, because it seems
he's super old. Yeah, I don't know why.
No, not that he's super old. It just seems like he hates being in movies. That's just.
But he loves money.
Yeah,
he loves money. Harrison Ford seems like he just hates being in movies. But no,
yeah, I'm just saying that, like, I bet the blood storyline is going to go somewhere, but the way She-Hulk left it off, unless they do an after-credit scene that explains what actually happened to that storyline, I have no idea what's going on, because the actual episode 9 didn't actually tell you where that storyline went. It made up, like, this is how it could have gone, but then they threw it away to jump outside of the show dimension, and then I'm like, okay, so what actually happened? I don't, you know what I mean?
Nothing happened.
So that's my point.
The thing.
That's my point.
They essentially.
Here's my son Scar.
It was just one big lead up to, like, a joke finale. That was all it was.
But I don't think it was a well executed joke, because I think a well executed joke still answers every one of your questions about being funny. And I'm like, okay, this left me with more questions, and I didn't laugh because now I'm confused.
It was trying to make a statement
Yeah.
And I think it did.
Yeah.
I think I did what it set out to do. It's saying, hey, look, Marvel isn't, it has problems. It's not perfect. The fan base is kind of shit sometimes. It's,
Yeah. So you could have done that without without making a confusing narrative, and that's what they did. But I agree, every point they tried to make about Marvel fans,
mm-hmm.
hold on, it was great. It was true. Yet I feel like you still have a responsibility to storytelling to answer what's happening in your narrative, and they just decided not to.
Yeah, but
what are we doing?
They had to take her power of the fourth wall break to the next level. Okay, that's the thing, man. She became a mega level mutant.
Yeah.
That episode.
So, but I was okay with that if she had been like, okay, so this is how I want my story to end. But she actually ended the story. She didn't just jump to like, this is how I want the epilogue to end. You know what I mean? Like it was weird.
She did. She's like literally like, this is what we're gonna get rid of this because I don't think it's that great. And get rid of this. All right, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this. It's like, all right.
Yeah, no, she literally rewrote her own last episode.
Yeah, but what happens to her blood? It's out there you know what I mean? Like she didn't really answer any of the questions.
See, that's the thing is you don't have to take this like you can take it seriously and then you don't have to take it that seriously. See, the beauty of it is they can just take a break and they can say what worked, what didn't work, and then they can take because it's like I think the thing that sometimes that what people don't like about current Marvel is like maybe, or I'm sorry, with other Phase 4 TV shows is that you're locked in to a certain storyline at the end of a season. The beauty of She-Hulk is at any point she can just not any point, but at this point they can literally just be like, what do we want to do? What worked? What didn't work? Let's change it. And I like that.
But I question when. Yeah, no, like as I said, it was a fun show.
Mm-hmm.
I think the writers are talented enough to have done more, especially plot-wise, with the show. I had a lot of fun. I wish it did have a linear narrative. That's the one thing that I do wish it had, or more of one. But I guess what I question is that now that Marvel is such a Lego set of interlocking pieces, it's like if someone needs to go and build off this, where do they even start with that ending? You know what I mean? But I mean that's neither here nor there. I still give this show. I mean, we should probably move on to ratings in a second. But like I fucking loved it, bro. Like so much about it was amazing. The Daredevil episode was like, I want you guys writing every crossover in the Marvel universe. This is how every crossover should feel. It was so much fun.
I don't know about that one.
Well, like that's how a fun superhero crossover feels. That's like same with the Wong episode. That's how a fun crossover feels.
They were fun crossover episodes, sure. However, the writers are also, like fully on record saying, "Hey, we just love to just screw with the fan base and screw with people that are watching."
But if you can do it in an intelligent way, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with subverting expectations. I'm not entirely okay with being anti-narrative because I would ask, what's the point then? But that's me. But long story short, if I had to rate the show, I would give it like a high 9 out of 10. Hell, I'd give it a 9.5. I enjoyed the shit out of this. I really did. My problems again with it were like, how do we make the story better? Because that was like, it was like if a vaulter goes up at the Olympics, does the best vault in the world, but lands on one leg. I'm like, okay, I'm amazed you land on one leg, but performance form is landing on both legs. That's how we end vaults. End the vault this way. Why did you end the vault this way? Like landing on one leg is
harder.
Screw
with people like you. It's literally they just wanted to screw with as many people as possible. They even said it. They've even said it. They're like, we just love screwing with people who expect like an actual story.
You can't assign all of that to active decision making. Sometimes it's just like they just decided that the narrative didn't need to be all together. And I think they were wrong in that decision. But that's me.
Their decision was to have fun and just screw with people.
That
was it.
August, you're saying you give it a... Sorry, man.
He gave it a 9.5?
I give it a 9.5.
That's a strong rating.
I had fun as fuck. I loved it.
I enjoyed it. I don't know if I would give it that. What would you give it, Quint?
Okay.
Oh, Yeah. By the way, the 70s opening in the last episode, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
I did really enjoy the 70s opening. Like, it took me a second. I was like, oh, they're just remaking shot for shot the old. Okay, I get it. I get it. It's a good joke, deep cut. But I think I would give it. I think I'm at like a 7 because
So weird.
Why?
No, I'll tell you why after. Go on.
Okay. Well, so I'm just really sick of like having the only way to promote one gender is to drag down another. I'm just so over it. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. And we had a lot in this season of guys dumb.
But like, people are dumb though. I feel like that's not fair. Like, everyone makes it dumb. I think they're using observational humor.
Guys dumb.
I don't know. I disagree, but
there's a lot of like guys dumb trope.
It's
and I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of like the girls only pretty and stupid tropes. I don't like any of these like gender tropes. They all just annoy the crap out of me. I hate them.
Okay.
And She-Hulk leaned pretty heavily on that for like a good few episodes. Let's see. The narrative was all over the place, but it was still kind of like a fun mishmash, even though it was just a mess. It's just whatever. You just kind of sit back and have some popcorn and watch it.
It was very like modern Rick and Morty, where each episode was just a different weird thing. But like I guess it's okay. Yeah.
I mean, they would introduce things and then just throw them away. Like they introduced the Asgardian wrecking crew and then just threw them away.
Yeah, I didn't like that too much, but maybe they'll bring them back. I mean, I don't.
Well, so they weren't. That's the best part. They were not the comic wrecking crew, which actually have superpowers, I believe. At least the original iteration.
They
stole Asgardian tools and were using them.
Yeah.
In the show.
But the Daredevil stuff was good. The Wong stuff was good. I liked the last episode for the most part. The writers just really wanted to be in an episode. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
sorry.
I don't know. Oh, my favorite character was Luke. I loved Luke. I thought he was fantastic.
Who was Luke?
Luke Jacobson. He was the designer for all the superhero suits and stuff.
He was fun. He was a fun
sassy
character.
bitch.
He was a fun character. And he was fun. The dude who was his shitty customer, like the frog dude, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was
all part of the Daredevil episode.
That was a funny gag.
He felt like he could have been in like fucking I don't know, like Community or something. Yeah, he
okay.
Or Kick-Ass, yeah, but like he just felt like a big old cartoon character.
He really was.
Even his lair was basically like a cartoon character. And then I liked how like they took that scene from, I think it was like the first few episodes of Daredevil, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do that first few episodes of Daredevil, but then we're gonna like kind of make it a joke a little bit, where like She-Hulk just comes in. It's just like, yo, I could just power through these people.
Well, that's the thing. They understood their source material.
Yeah.
They understood, like, Matt was like gearing up because he was getting tired, and the more guys showed up, and he's getting ready. He's like, "Oh, it's about to be a hallway fight." And she just drops to the ceiling and just fucking fuck him up. It's like, nah, this is my show, bitch.
They also played his theme too, which I thought was kind of funny.
No, it was I liked it.
But yeah, so I'm sitting at a 7 out of 10. It was fine. It wasn't anything special. I felt like it leaned on the gender tropes that I hate a lot, which was disappointing for me. It was nice to get a story fully from like the female perspective, to kind of, pull everything together and give people kind of like a walk a mile in my shoes kind of thing, which worked out well. felt like characters were underutilized, but whatever.
Can you give me an example?
Well, the Asgardian Wrecking Crew for one, but like, they could have done probably more with like Abomination.
I liked Abomination in the show. I thought he was pretty cool, but I mean, I think he's a great side character. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I feel like he was underutilized.
So
right? Like he ended up actually being like a solid character, and I feel like they could have done more with him.
Yeah. So I need to go back and rewatch the first Hulk, because like to me they were not the same character. But I need to rewatch the first Hulk because he makes some good points. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, is he just using the lens where he was the victim? Because I'm like, at a certain point, I feel like he made choices. You know what I mean?
He is fully rehabilitated.
Yeah,
he's fully he has accepted the fact that he was the cause of his own problems in his life, and like,
yes, but he also decides to fuck off and not stick around for the punishment either time. Because that was the after credit scene. That was the after credit scene in this show. Like, he decided to go back to jail, quote unquote, and then as soon as Wong offered to bust him out, he was like, "Hell yeah, let's get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, why not?
I was like, "Come on, you're like, is that really? Oh, that's not really the rules, bro."
I mean, he also
he's still not a great person. What surprise! But backlog. Where are you at? Where are you at?
I'm actually at a 7, which is weird because I don't see. I feel like you liked the show a lot less than I did. So it's like that's why I'm saying that's why I'm saying it's weird for me to say 7, because the barometer is like, it's weird how it doesn't matter. It's a 1 out of 10 scale. Who the hell knows, man? It's a weird scale. But yeah, man, I think the only other thing that I think wasn't mentioned was the CG was kind of whack at times.
Agreed.
Oh, the CG was super whack.
It was weird at times. It felt like a 3D hentai or something like that, like type quality. It wasn't great. It was also like a lot of uncanny valley type stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
Anytime you saw like She-Hulk with like a real person, you were just kind of like.
Even She-Hulk next to regular Hulk, I'm like, the regular Hulk model looks great. The She-Hulk model does not look great.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
it's almost like they can kind of reuse some stuff.
Reuse some assets.
Yeah.
I mean, but other than that, yeah, man, I thought the show was great. I had fun. I'm interested to see where season 2 goes. I'd say this is like right below probably like Loki for, one of my favorite shows. Yeah, what do we have up next on the docket?
Oh, they also casually introduced Scar.
Right, yeah. By the way, I have a son. Yeah.
They just casually threw in a super important character at the end.
As a wrap-up,
this has got to be it, though. We gotta go.
What gags do you think they should have done? Because I would have loved if they would have done for the whole episode the male Hulk from like the 70s one, because that was a dude playing the Hulk. Like the baddie bundle version of the Hulk, like the Lou Ferrigno in the beginning of the 70s opening. I would have loved if they would have kept that going for an episode, just not made any comments on it. Like, that would have been funny as like there's just some gags that I wish they would have done.
I think it would have been amusing if they just for one episode just painted Jen green and just like gave her some like shoulder pads and been like, "Oh yeah, she's She-Hulk," very Lou Ferrigno style.
I also remember they brought up fridging a character, which is like,
I don't remember that.
I can't remember what and I feel bad because I believe like fridging is like a term that's like a sort of like misogynist term in like comics where they kind of like disregard a character, like a female character of some kind.
Close. Okay, so the original term is when you kill off a male character's love interest for story purposes to motivate the male character to do something.
Yes.
So yeah,
Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, it is kind of. Well, I mean, that's not. I think the main example is actually from Green Lantern, in which one of the Green Lantern, I want to say it's Kyle Rayner,
find his girlfriend or something.
Yeah, he finds her dead body in a fridge, just to like keep the story going. And I'm like, well, that's. I mean, upon examination, that's kind of fucked up because it only ever happens to female characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if it happened to male characters, it's like.
Still
So, what is that saying about we have to murder characters to keep the story forward? You know what I mean? in that way. Yeah.
Well, anytime Spider-Man's happy, the fans aren't, and so a female has to die.
Yeah, I know.
A sacrifice must be made.
Yeah, dude, that's the secretly the deal he made with Mephisto in One More Day.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so moving on. I liked we all liked She-Hulk. We all liked it in different ways. It was a cool show. We got other topics to handle. We can Marvel nerd out another time. Let's move on.
Yeah, man. What do we have next on the docket?
G4.
Yeah,
G4?
I'll let you guys start this because this was the shit show.
What's there to start? The plug's been pulled.
Again.
They weren't pulling in the viewership.
Again.
It was just another failing thing. They were stuck in the past, and they couldn't. I guess they couldn't find their footing, and they just tried doing the same stuff they did before. But we already have these days so many other options to get the kind of information that we used to get from G4.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah.
It was doomed to fail from like second conception.
I agree. It's so weird because it's like what new analysis on the business logistics, on the business model of game themed or related streaming did you think you had that the other people who had a channel that went on for years wouldn't have had? Because like you're assuming they failed because of mismanagement. And yeah, management might not have been perfect, but no, like the model was moving away from that. Like I think at a certain point, like the people who own G4 had to like throw money into it to keep it going, which already means your model's unsustainable. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, it was like one of those things where like the G4 as it was a relic of a bygone era. Unfortunately, everyone's doing that now. They either have their own Twitch channel or they have a YouTube channel.
It was just game journalism, the TV show.
Network.
That's all it was.
And like, could it have been possible to make it work? Yes. But the amount, maybe, I think it would have, but the amount of talent and effort would have taken, I would have been like, why? Like, all of that, most of that talent and effort would have been best spent somewhere else. Like, what would you even want? What would a functioning G4 even look like in this day and age? You know what I mean? Like,
it would actually look like a TikTok channel.
Well, no, but there are channels that already basically do that. Like, kind of funny.
Does have a TikTok. And also, to be fair, Kevin Pereira, I don't know if you guys had followed his career after G4, but he had recreated, essentially, G4 that had existed. I can't remember the exact name of it. But I used to, pop in and out of the streams, but they would have similar streams to G4 in a similar format that was like there, and they had gone on for years. And so they had brought him in, I think, thinking that he would be able to help out a lot.
Kind of like transfer over.
But I don't think they had him in a management position. They just had him in to do one specific job.
Yeah.
They also,
that's weird.
Yeah. So like the thing is like I really don't know what they were thinking. I'm sure they could have done this and made it, affordable, but they wouldn't have been able to have the talent that they had. And so the thing about Kevin Pereira is when he was doing it, he brought in a bunch of nobodies and then just kind of grew it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And a lot of like interns and stuff, and that's what G4 did, really.
That's what Roster Teeth did. That's what Kinda Funny did. That's what Funhouse did. That's what all of the channels that did things that were even slightly similar. Did that. And they they still had their struggles, but they grew it organically. Like starting something like this from the top down. Oh boy, that's a tall ask. And like, what new niche are you filling in a super saturated market that wasn't already being done by somebody?
I mean, it's difficult. Like I don't think you it's like you bring back two of the previous cast of G4, right? And you like what were they? I mean, what would they accomplish out of that too? It's like you have people stop by, and mind you, they aren't even there all the time. They're just there some of the time, part of the time. You know what I mean? It just didn't seem like it made any sense. I'm not sure what everyone knew that straight from the beginning that it was doomed to fail.
Yeah. But any criticism that people like leveraged against G4 was met with hostility. Like straight up, oh, if you don't like it, don't watch it and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean,
and August is muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
You might
August.
have had. Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. You're good now.
I'm good now. Okay.
You're good now. Yeah.
But yeah, they were met with hostility.
So that was you're talking about like the whole Frost incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
any kind of criticism was just like dismissed and be like, whatever.
I don't know. I think that's a back and forth, and I think people who don't like hearing their criticism criticized use that as a blanket against criticism. It's like, yes, criticism is allowed, but when you're criticizing something for a reason you shouldn't be criticizing it for, I do have to question what the fuck you're doing. But like, if you're criticizing on topic, criticize away. But
yeah,
some people,
they're professionals.
Some people use
you don't react like that as a professional. I mean, you don't feed into that kind of shit.
Might have made some good points.
Look,
That's all I'm saying.
I will say, look here, and I think I was talking to August about this before the stream, and so I know somebody who had applied for a job at G4. I had told you about this, Quintessence. I think I did.
I don't think so.
So I know somebody who applied for a job at G4, and they went in, and essentially they wanted to use their sort of their minority, their position, and their as an influencer, as a minority, as like sort of to sensationalize and gain attention. Mm-hmm. And because of that, they decided not to work with them.
Yeah.
So
good move.
So the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, they were probably doing that on purpose. Yes, they were probably trying to gain attention that way. But also, were they also making good points? Probably, yes. I don't think that they were really saying anything that was too crazy. Do I think that, people might have been offended by this person being angry or felt like they were being blamed by this person? Maybe, but really you're not. It's okay for other people to, I'm not saying you in particular, but people may feel like they're being blamed. I don't think that was the case. I think that she's just trying to say, when you have so many different voices coming at you from like, you're like, imagine if it was just me on screen and I'm just talking to people and everyone's like, oh, you're this, you're that, and it's like, you have a lot of opinions. Like, we get comments on our YouTube videos about how, I don't know, they're mad that we don't like the first episode. I didn't like the first episode of Gundam Mercury, which from Mercury, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like
people taking personal offense to things that aren't directed at them is like internet 101, and it's insane because it's like, I wasn't, I get you.
It's my opinion. You don't want to feed the trolls, right?
But sometimes you guys,
they're trying to say that stuff to get like a rise out of you.
But sometimes you're getting paid to feed the trolls. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
It's
yeah.
And sometimes you have to address a group at large. You know what I mean? Like, stop. Like, don't take offense to something that's not specifically. It's about the overall. It's like a comment to the universe is not something you specifically need to get offended about every time.
Yeah. I don't think. Basically, I don't think she has her valid points. Because she's angry about that doesn't make her. I don't think that makes her wrong. I don't think that makes her a jerk, because we all don't really know her at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could be a great person. I don't know. I'm not gonna judge her off her own sort of pent up anger about something.
It did get.
I mean, I've watched her for years when she was like doing like commentary and stuff, casting for like League of Legends games and stuff like that, because she was always part of like the after game like reviews and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she's always kept like kind of she's always been pretty chill for the most part.
Well, I mean, again, her.
So it's
her
just
take,
it was just out of character to just kind of like
Yeah.
snap like that.
Yeah. Her take was definitely hot. Did she make some good points? Maybe.
It was
But I
spicy.
mean, at the end of the day, G4 probably was always doomed because it was a shit business model.
Yeah,
it wasn't
even
made
without
any
her
better.
comments, like thinking it maybe a little bit faster.
I don't even think that her comments did it. I think
doomed.
it was always doomed.
Bro,
like unless, yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. I'm sorry. She might have gotten more hate. She might have gotten a lot of hate because of it, but also the reason why she got visibility, but she's also probably speaking some facts, and that's why people were mad about it, because it's like, you know, it's like it touched a point where it's like, yeah, maybe people do feel that way. That's why they're mad at her. You know, I don't know.
They like, as I said, I'm not trying to like quote the Bible, but like I've heard a thing said about the Bible. It's like they hate you if you speak the truth, bro. They hate you when you're speaking the truth. Just say it. But yeah, it's like one of those things where like, yeah,
it's just
offensive.
offensive.
I don't know. Like they shoot a lot of times the messenger shot whether or not he was correct or not.
Or you know, just really loud and being a jerk.
That too. But again,
yeah,
you know,
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, the louder the messenger
I
speaks,
think both sides were just being jerks. I don't know.
I really don't think. Look, I'm saying like G4 intentionally gave her, like, nobody was stopping her. It's not like G4's like,
yeah,
no,
for sure.
don't have the platform.
Why would they? Why would they stop her?
It.
She made a reasonable point. She was loud about it. And like, do we punish people being loud nowadays? I think that's going too far. Well, I mean,
no, we literally do.
But depends on what they're being loud about. But yes,
Kanye.
Conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, Kanye is very loud lately.
Yeah.
Oh, bro.
I mean, but
what
is he saying?
Don't worry. Exactly. Did you see that? Did you see that video I posted about how somebody took Elon Musk's tweet and they put it like Dio Kaiser Neko, like the guy from Team 4-Star.
No.
He's I believe he's the voice for Trunks and another character, but anyway, doesn't matter. He put a footage of Char Aznable, like in a footage, and then under it he put the quote of Elon Musk, and then he did a voiceover of Char Aznable reading Elon Musk's tweet, and it fits so well. It's amazing.
Okay,
so if you
Elon's the next Char.
If you guys go,
the uninformed, who is Char Aznable?
Char Aznable is
the antagonist.
Is it from Gundam?
Antagonist from Gundam. Yeah, he essentially, you know, he's the representative of like the warring other party. And I say antagonist in quotation marks because of course in Gundam they like to blur the lines and all that, and realistically he's just kind of just
Zeon
doing
bad.
Kinda, yeah.
Lately he's been he's been not the greatest. I don't want to be impolite.
August, we're talking about
Elon or
we're talking about
Char Aznable?
No.
Char Aznable.
Char Aznable and the Zeon Federation.
But anyway, if you read them both together, if you read Char Aznable or with Char Aznable talking and him doing the voiceover, it's amazing. Go check it out. It's on my Twitter page if you guys
I'll have to check it out then.
What's next up on the docket, man?
Hold on. So just to say, G4 died. I feel bad, but it is the least surprising of anything. Right?
I don't really care. Like, I have so many YouTube like channels and stuff like that I used to keep up with all this stuff. G4 literally served no purpose.
No one is surprised.
Not anymore. I mean, I'm just saying, like, there are so many shows that do like look, let's face it, G4 is the prototype. Without G4, we may not have had all of these other successful channels. Like, we wouldn't have had IGN, we wouldn't have had like Screw Attack, we might not have had Mega 64, we may not, so on and so forth. And so many people, not only that, but when you listen to all of these people from these channels that we love now that have millions of followers, a lot of them originally started working at G4. A lot of those people moved on and started working at Rooster Teeth, that started running Rooster Teeth, that started running Funhouse, that started, Bruce what's his name? The guy from Funhouse? Bruce It's fine.
Is it S Bruce? No,
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. But anyway, he originally worked at G4.
This is on channel now. Yeah.
Even Chris Hardwick used to work at G4. Olivia Munn. So many.
Actress now.
Who's an actress now. So many people that were really, really good. But anyway,
well, the thing is right, they take like 30 minutes to give us information that now we just digest in like 5 minutes from somewhere else.
And that is kind of the problem with journalism in the media age. G4 was just in the middle, but now they're outdated again. So it's like, why? Like, unless you're going to be the next SNL, which maybe they could have turned into that. I don't know what we're doing here.
That seems like a stretch.
I don't know. I don't think about that.
Dude, I still understand how SNL is still around. Someone explain that to me, please. I don't get it. I mean, granted, I guess you can go to watch celebrities do stuff, but
I mean,
anyway, that's neither here nor there.
The SNL only exists for people that I don't know.
Dude, I'm not springboard into other comedic fields.
I'm not unconvinced. I'm not unconvinced. Lorne Michaels is secretly
like grandfather.
A lich. No, he's a lich, and having the show on TV keeps him alive.
Oh, okay.
All right, man. Hey, what was next on the docket?
All right, so next on the docket is the RE4 remake. Damn it, we picked way too many topics.
What? No, today. It isn't.
Isn't it?
Next on the docket is
Hellena Taylor.
I'm
skipping. Okay, yeah.
Hellena Taylor.
Okay. Damn, we picked some meaty topics today, and we went way too deep on the She-Hulk, but we'll keep going. Hellena Taylor.
I said it would take a long time.
Yeah, but I didn't think it'd take that long.
We'll be
Bayonetta's voice actress, Hellena Taylor, explains why she's not in Bayonetta 3. And yeah, I mean, dude, this story has gone back and forth. It's been crazy. I think it has finally settled down now. When she agreed that she was offered more than $4,000, because I think in the video, in the way she said it, she was only offered $4,000. Later, of course, when someone came back with the counterclaim on what was closer to the truth, she countered. It's like, okay, well, I wasn't just offered $4,000. And I'm like, why did you say it was like that then?
Because
she wanted to garner the pity.
Yeah, I know, and it was dumb because now everyone can see that she was simping rather than bringing up a I mean, it's so frustrating.
Listen, she was offered $4,000 a day.
She was.
A day.
Okay, so no, I thought it was the way I heard
per session.
It was per session, but it was only after it was only like 3 sessions, right? So it was
it was like
20.
Sessions.
I think it was like I think she was getting somewhere around $20,000 to do the.
Okay, so let's not throw out a number till we know exactly, but like having read her quote unquote confirming tweet, basically I think she was offered $10K. She turned it down. And then I think they offered another 4,000 later, so it's somewhere between like 14 and 16. She was offered totally. That I'm aware.
That's not what it is fine.
She was offered somewhere between it was like 16 and 20K. However, she refused that, and she's like, "No, I want 6 figures. Bayonetta is mine. I am Bayonetta."
Oh, it was up to $20,000.
And they're just like.
Oh yeah,
no.
So this is what I'm annoying because this like the way the story has come out. Okay, so I'll put it this way. I could almost liken this to what had just happened, unfortunately, I'm not gonna say unfortunately because I'm not a legal expert and we don't know what happened. I'm trying, bro. We're not gonna make it, bro. We're not gonna make it. We're already at an hour 30.
Listen, I'm not saying we're not gonna make it. I'm just saying make your fucking point. Come on,
yeah,
guys.
make your point.
Let's go.
My point is like I would say this is almost similar into the idea of what happened in the Kevin Spacey Anthony Rapp case, where like you want to believe the witness up until the witness was like, well, I made this part of my story up, and it's like, well, because you made this part of your story up, I now can't believe your whole story, even if part of it was true. Like you do realize you just fucked yourself, right?
I mean,
and like
she's poisoned the well. No one's gonna want to work with her again.
That's the problem. Like that's the problem with like her just simping so hard for attention and going out so far on a limb for this.
I don't see how it's simping, but
I suppose if you watched her video, she was begging people to
very emotional.
Yeah,
because. Okay, she wanted to garner all that pity. she wanted to like make them regret not giving her 6 figures for her voice, right? Which is outrageous because the games
don't
sell only like a few million copies max.
Yup.
And then they're just like, all right, fine, whatever. We'll just get someone else. And they still offered her $4,000 for a short cameo.
Yes.
And she still turned it down.
Yeah, because at that point, she
just wants more money.
Well, no, but like again, people got offended. She got in her feels, and it didn't work out. It didn't work out, and that's business sometimes. And she wasn't able to accept that, which is what makes her look even worse. Because now, after all that happens, she had to go. She decided the smart choice was to go and break NDA. Just to throw it out into the arena of the public, not realizing that because of what happened, she's gonna look like an idiot when all the facts came out. Surprise, surprise.
She also doubled down on the false facts. And then like the receipts came out from like other people in the industry that was working with her and like, actually, this is how it happened. And then she's like, okay, that is true. However.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like she looks so foolish here, and
she looks just greedy. She looks greedy.
But it's not just greedy. It's so like like how we had this on the docket was that I wanted it to be a conversation partially about maybe celebrities and mental health, but it's again some of it is also a conversation of just people making stupid decisions. At the end of the day, like I could talk about people with mental health issues being more or less likely to make bad decisions. I want to throw that out for now. And I just want to say, she just, like, at every opportunity to make the smartest conservative decision to not do the dumb thing, she chose to do the dumb thing. And it's like, why would you double down? Like, you're already losing. This is stacked against your favor. Don't up the ante. But she upped the ante every time, and as a result, now she
played
might never
a game
again.
of chicken. She played a game of chicken. She's like, I'm gonna ask 6 figures. There's no way they can turn me down. I am Bayonetta. They can't even replace me. Yeah. And then they just fucking they just like, no, we'll just get someone else, someone who's like well known, who can do that voice.
Who would
it's fine.
Who would act sane, like a sane professional? Because, like, even in her story, like, I think literally her story involves 2 asks. Like, she didn't like the initial amount she got. Her final version of the story, which is closer to the facts, is that she didn't like the original amount she got offered. I think it was somewhere around 10K. So she goes to Camilla. She sends a letter.
20.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying. I mean, well, okay. So find me that source.
There's a big difference between 10 and
but
like 20.
find me that
it
source.
It says okay. So first of all, I've read it says up to 20K. So
yeah, it's in the article.
Also, I'm gonna throw out another number here. I was reading it sold. The Bayonetta as a series has sold up to 3 million copies.
Exactly. See.
Yeah.
3 million.
Yeah. That's it.
What do you mean? Like that's what do you mean? That's it. That's amazing.
That's not.
What do you mean?
For all the people that need to get paid, asking for
she
6
was
figures is a lot.
She was considering, like, oh, Bayonetta's in Smash. Look how many copies of Smash
supposedly
have
sold. She was like there's a quote out there that's floating out again.
It says billion or million?
There's a quote out there that's floating around that said she tried to use the Smash revenue numbers to generate her figure for the numbers of how much she'd get paid. And I'm like, you were a guest in Smash. You're not the main event. Like, calm yourself. Like, look at the Bayonetta franchise and see how much.
Did she say
Smash
billion or million? Did she say billion?
I think she said million. She said million.
Yeah, then she's in the. She says, yeah, it's a 3 million. It's sold over 3 million sales. That's not even counting Bayonetta 3. This is between Bayonetta 1 and 2. 3 million.
Yeah, but that's not a huge amount of units moved.
We're arguing around like things that I think if we looked a little bit deeper, like, we would find all our stories kind of match up.
If you look at Bayonetta as a franchise, 3 million units isn't huge for like. She's practically
for 3 games.
Like a star.
For 3 games, yeah. For 2 games, yeah, that's not that big.
Yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah, like Platinum is. I'm not saying Platinum's on life support. They're not, but they're certainly not one of the more successful companies in the industry.
Nintendo did save Bayonetta, though. Nintendo actually saved Bayonetta.
Yeah. But there's a reason Nintendo gets exclusive rights to Bayonetta first, is because no one else is going to front them. But Nintendo really likes working with Platinum. And Bayonetta is their most well-known character. That is what it is.
But basically, Hellena Taylor, greedy AF.
So she but like it was one of those things
mentally
where, like,
unsound.
Yes, but that's
all over the place. So many different stories. And
but it was
like ways of things.
It was the classic. It was the classic like DJ Khaled, like you played yourself.
So
she absolutely played herself here, man.
To be fair, and I'm gonna have to give. We're gonna have to give her this a fair shake. This list here that I'm counting with the Bayonetta scores is not counting Bayonetta on the Xbox, Bayonetta on the PS3, Bayonetta on the Switch. So it's very possible that, I mean, if she was wrong, she's only off by 1 million. And it's really not, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But
but her ask was astronomical. It was completely out of any kind of real budget for
voice acting,
a game like that.
For voice acting and for a game that is kind of on it. I'm not going to say Platinum is an indie company, but I would.
Small.
Would you call them AA? Like what would you call them? Like they're not
AAA studio.
Okay.
I mean, arguably I don't know.
They're in like the lower tier of AAA. They're like they're reaching into like the AAA.
Yeah.
I feel.
But either way, it's like for a studio that is as unconsistently successful in the West as Platinum, I think that was asking such a high amount for her salary is a little crazy. Like, again, like maybe somewhere in I think she thought
they tried to work with her too.
No, but they did. They offered her more money. Yeah,
they didn't actually want to lose her.
Yeah. And
she was just so far up here, and they were just down here. They're like, we're never gonna meet in the middle. It's not gonna work.
But like the sad part about that is she's a phenomenal. Like I think we can all agree that she is the best voice actress for Bayonetta.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say that I listened.
Have you watched
Max play the game, and you know what? She does a pretty good, Jen Hale does a pretty good impression of Hellena Taylor.
Yeah.
But then again, she's doing an impression, but she's doing a great job.
Yeah. She does fine. It shows how actually, I guess, replaceable Hellena Taylor actually was at the end of the day when she thought she was such an asset that she could just ask whatever she wanted.
Yeah. Well, again, if in the professional sphere, that's always the balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, it's like if your contract is so ridiculous that no one is gonna support you or want to work with you, then someone's gonna replace you. Like they're literally replacing Henry Cavill in The Witcher, bro. Like,
wait, really?
That's a completely different reason, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, if a studio finds a reason to not be able to work with you anymore, be it scheduling, be it time, be it reasons, they're probably going to try to replace you. And that is what it is. And yes, there should be a back and forth. You are worth a lot in your industry. But
I wonder who they're going to replace Superman with.
Liam Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth. Yeah.
It's Henry Cavill. He's playing Superman again. Stupid.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's a joke. Okay. It was a joke. It was. Sorry, buddy. It was my fault. It was my fault. I could have had a better setup.
So we can squeeze one more thing in here, right?
Yep.
Because Hellena Taylor, we're just done with. Whatever.
I'm so disappointed in this situation because she is good at her job, but this was exceedingly unprofessional behavior, and I don't know what would have fixed it. Do you need a business manager to tell you what you're worth? Why would you do this?
I mean, she's ruined it for herself and for other people now.
She nuked her own career. She nuked her own career for this.
Can I also throw something in here too? I mean,
sure.
Did you want to go first before because I don't want to interrupt you. I think you were going to say something.
Have at it, dude. I mean, she fucked everything up for everyone. She screwed herself over. She screwed up other VAs that are trying to get places.
Because now companies are going to be now companies are going to be even more dickish in their contracts and their NDAs and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And after seeing what happened here, yeah.
I honestly
think
get
sued. She might get sued.
I'll tell you what. I honestly think that the one thing that she might have been looking at is the amount of people in voice actors lately that have been getting shafted by companies, including like the voice actor for the guy who does Mob Psycho. I can't remember his name. I don't watch Mob Psycho. He's not in season 3, but there have been other voice actors like for the people that did was it Demon Slayer, who got paid $300 for that entire movie. The there are a lot of voice actors right now who are been putting down roles or returning roles because of how poorly for how much work they've been doing and how poorly they've been getting paid. And maybe she saw this as an opportunity to be paid more, which, look, hey, in my opinion, voice actors should be paid more. They should be paid just as much as actors should. And
what did I have? I had this conversation with you earlier, man. Capitalism ruins everything, or at least the system we have now just destroys everything. Because like, you probably should have been paid more. Should you have been paid 6 figures? That's doubtful. But more? Yeah, probably. But
yeah, $20K for 4 sessions.
I mean, but again, the service she provides is, you know what I mean? It's a different industry, bro.
They already offered her way above like the normal like
industry
voice
standard.
actors.
I know, but again, she is a known name in that role.
She's also a returning veteran.
Like thousands. It was thousands more.
Not to mention she's a veteran. Like she said, like even she said, and then they could probably go back and pull the contract. Like she said she only made $3,000 for the first game, which I believe because it was a new property. You're not gonna get money for the first game.
New property, newcomer, whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
but I mean,
how it is.
There are story reasons too, where so there are story reasons too where like at first, I know, I'm sorry, it sounds crazy, but so when she said 4,000. She should have added flat fee in there, and I think she might have saved her skin a little bit, but either way, god damn it.
I think she cited the final after her first rejection, where she rejected their offer, and they because like basically she says they offered her, she said she didn't like their offer, she turned it down. She asked Kamiya. He said they give her 5,000 more. She still turned that down. She didn't hear back from them for 11 months, and then they basically offer flat fee 4K for cameos because I think the storyline has like multiple timelines of Bayonetta, so they would have loved to have her as a cameo. This is just me guessing. She also turned that down, I believe. But the weird thing is like it seems like she just cited that as the final number, and I'm like, you weren't just offered 4,000. There was a whole history before they got to the 4,000, and that was you rejecting their first couple offers. So don't just come to me and be like, they offered me 4,000 for the whole gig. No, they offered 4,000 for you after the gig was mostly done, and they wanted to bring you back.
I mean, they offered her 4,000 to come in for like a few hours and literally do some cameo lines.
Yeah. But then she like, you can't start with that. And I mean, granted, maybe it's because we live in a social media era where, you know, we like our clips. We don't like the whole story, but I don't really feel like she gave the whole story. She probably couldn't, which is why if any lawyer had talked to her about this, I'm like, if you're gonna break NDA, do anything like this, do not give numbers because it's gonna make you look like an asshat when the whole story comes out. And it was such a shit show.
Well, that's why she didn't give numbers about how much she wanted. But she didn't give numbers about how much they offered her initially for realsies.
I mean, there's a way to do it right, and I don't know if she did that right. Because I think a lot of people are saying that, like, yeah, like people are saying I asked for $250K. She probably didn't ask for anything that high. She might have asked for like higher, but not that high, you know.
So it's saying here that she was getting pay increases from previous games.
Yeah.
So like I mean I get it, you know. It's
just dumb that this came down to a pay dispute rather than just like, let's make something that works out for both of us. You know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
you just started too high. They started too low, I guess, and
but yeah, and
there's no chance.
The fact that like at the end of the day we couldn't find some way to part professionally disappoints me. But I don't know, at what point do you complain, and at what point are your complaints reasonable? Is there a good way to complain about a pay dispute in a professional setting? I don't know.
I feel like she could have retained her like relationship almost with the Nintendo if she had just done the cameo. Like 4K for like 4-ish, 5-ish hours of work.
Yeah.
Okay. Done. And then Nintendo doesn't hate me and the internet can't roast me alive.
Dude, it's so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if she's ever gonna work again now. And it's like, think about your career. Like, think about your career overall. You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts.
All right.
Like, I don't even know if you're gonna be able to go to signings. Yeah, it is. But anyway, I'm disappointed. It just sucks that this had to go down the way it did. But yeah, we got a little bit in too deep. And now we gotta move on. Matt, you are the Resident Evil head. What do you think about the gameplay trailer for the new video? I'm of the opinion that Resident Evil 4 is still an amazing game, and you could just do a remaster and be fine. But they want to do a full remake. What's your opinion?
So this is a very weird place we're in, and I think it's strange because we're at a time where we're starting to catch up to at least modern day graphics, where it's sort of like, all right, Final Fantasy VII, gotcha. All right, polygon, sphere, hands, we got to remake that game. Okay, story can be retold a little bit different. I like it. I dig it. Right? Now we're kind of getting into GameCube PS2 era of games, classic games that need to be remade.
Need is a strong word.
That people would like to see remade. That people would buy. Okay?
Some people, yes.
Shut up!
Sorry, I'm just
Damn it!
I'm just fucking. Yeah, I'm
just talking too much.
I'm just trolling you.
Fuck out of here.
Just let me speak. Damn it. So I think it's great that they're remaking this. The one thing that I can say about the game is that they are doing a great job of taking everything about Resident Evil 4 and keeping it very sacred from what I can see. A lot of people were worried that they were going to cut the castle out of the game. That's in the trailer. That's going to be in the game. Who knows how big it's going to be. But also, they're taking little things like the first area. They're adding a basement into it. Shocking, I know. I feel like they add a basement into every first area of like modern Resident Evil now. But pretty much what I'm saying is they're taking the source material, they're respecting it, they're adding more stuff into it and subverting expectations. So they're doing exactly what they should be, where they are keeping game mechanic aspects. They are keeping where the shotgun was in the first area of the game, right? They are keeping like the chainsaw man, but they're also doing different things like, hey, chainsaw man's gonna attack you and you gotta block his chainsaw with your pistol. And they're also keeping, hey, you can kick people and then do like attack actions to keep them off of you. Stuff like that, where I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a good game. Do I think it needs to be remade? That is a very hard question to answer. And I don't know. I would like... I think Resident Evil 4 is a great game the way it is, and I don't think it needs to be remade. I'll just say it. It doesn't need to be remade. This is like, we're at the point where we need money area of things. Like where, you know what I'm saying? It's like that old, that meme of break glass in case of emergency. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I'm not saying it's in that territory, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it's like so our great article or great observation was just out on the Our Game subreddit. It's just like, why are we making old games that are, or not even old, like semi-old games that are not only, that are just good. They're good games. Like, why remake something that is already a very complete experience? Like, why are we not remaking the games that could have been great games but fell short? Why are you not remaking the bad games, but there was something there that could have made it an amazing game? Like, why are we already remaking really good experiences where games that could have been great experiences could have been remade? Like, I don't understand why they couldn't have done Code Veronica, which is a game that I think everyone was like, this has some good ideas, but it could have been redone instead of RE4, which everyone still loves the current game. There's still a million ways to play it. How fucking Mark Zuckerberg just did a whole VR version where you could do the fucking VR interaction shit. And it's still Resident Evil 4.
There's a million ways to play RE4. I think they're worried that if they did Code Veronica, that it wouldn't quite. I think they're worried about the sales, and I think really what the problem is that they had, as weird as it sounds, like you have to almost look at Resident Evil as like two different things right now. You have to look at it as like old Resident Evil, like third person, and then first person Resident Evil with 7 and 8. They essentially play the same, but they're different, you know? Like people are worried that Resident Evil 3 had a very lukewarm reception. Like, it's not a bad game, but it's not a really good game either. It's not. It was meant to originally be part of Resident Evil 2 remakes. You know, it was supposed to be DLC. And then they're like, oh, well, we can make more money if we make it a second game. But then
just sell this bitch for $60.
Yeah, and then they sold it for $60 and then cut content from it. And you know, it just didn't. I think they're trying to restore faith in the fan base by making Resident Evil 4. Because of the disappointment that was RE3. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe go back and make Resident Evil Code Veronica. It's not story-wise. Story-wise, they're not too out of shift from one another. Like, they could make RE4 and then Code Veronica, and it wouldn't fuck with one another. You know what I'm saying?
But I think RE4 is the emergency brake in Glass. You know what I mean? And it's like, if they do this, like, what's the anticipation now? Like, are we gonna remake 5? Maybe, honestly, 5 had problems, so like it would almost be more interesting. Like, I think RE4 is one of, if not the most beloved game in the franchise. So I question remaking it.
RE5 is incredibly not incredibly underrated, but it is underrated, and it's for so. It has race problems, of course, because you're going into African towns and murdering people. And, you know, I think that is like the biggest thorn in that game's side.
It is a charged game.
It is a charged game. And I don't know if they realized that what they were doing when they were doing it. I can't speak from that point of view. Yeah. But I can only say that the gameplay itself is very fun, and that
sorry, I just want to make a point that kind of piggybacks on your point. I entirely agree. It's possible to be accidentally culturally. I'm not even gonna say culturally insensitive, but that's the word I would use rather than racist accidentally. You know what I mean? Or like it's entirely possible to be culturally unaware rather than intentionally like, oh, this is racist. But keep going.
Like I can't really speak on that. I mean, I can say that 4, 5, and 6 are all in different countries and continents. And I think they did that on purpose because they're like, well, we've been in America forever, now we want to go somewhere else. And then, like, it's also made by a Japanese company, so I don't know if, like, they were, you know, they really look at things that way because they're, like, so isolated from the rest of the world. Do I think that's an excuse? Absolutely not. I think, but RE5, like, in its core gameplay, is one of the best multiplayer co-op experiences you can have in video games. In my opinion, it's one of the best. It's period. It is such a fantastic game. It's so fun. It's great. It's fun. It's amazing to play with a friend. I've never played another co-op game that was as good as that game, co-op wise. Which is why I was like, I think I bought one of you the game, and because I was trying to convince you both to play it with me this Halloween season, because it's one, like, I've already beaten it on every difficulty. Yeah. It's a great game, but yes, but other than that, no, I don't think. I think it peaked at 5, and then that's when it hit the dip after 5. It's like when you hit 6. And then it's like, you know, Revelations, which is they're okay, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess this is my whole point is that like.
No, I don't think they need to remake 5.
Yeah, so, but that we're getting to the point where the further time goes, the more likely we are to get remakes of those games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, let's stop. Wait a minute. Like, if we're at the point where we have to remake even great games, like, what more are we adding to the conversation? Like, I don't know if. Like, is this an alternate universe? Is this just a reboot? Like, not only are we graying the lines between like reboot, remaster, and remake, which were already kind of a nightmare.
That's not blurring the lines, in my opinion.
But it's like we have to ask like why we're doing it. Like, why can't we just make something new? Why can't we make an alternate timeline? Why can't we like make a new game? Like, it feels more. You know, making a copy of a copy of a copy, like endlessly, like mining down on something where like you could have just made something new. Like, give me more Ethans, give me more new characters in the Resident Evil universe that I haven't met before. Like, why are we doing more of the same?
Have you played through 8? If no,
cover to cover, I'll play through it. Yeah.
Okay, so then, if you guys didn't know, 8 basically says, okay, well, Ethan's done. His story's over.
And then goes over. Rose.
Now we're on Rose, which apparently the DLC's out now.
Yeah, but I think Rose is supposed to be a one-off too, supposedly. It's just her DLC. I don't think you get a full game after. Yeah.
So look, I don't know. I haven't played the DLC yet. Would I like to? Yes. Please don't tell me about the DLC yet, because I'm still gonna play it.
I haven't watched it.
Okay, so she's intended to be the next main protagonist. There are other things that can happen, but look, they have veered off. 7 was like, all right, we're going in a different direction, and it's great. But they're also saying, hey, look, old fans of the show of the game, and you know, here's this is for you. Yeah. Here's the older games, and I think that they work well together in conjunction. But it's sort of like, look, if you were to take what Capcom has as their most popular game, like what are their 2 most popular games? You've got Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. These are their 2 bread and butters. There will until those games start to like poop the bed, they're going to keep making them until they stop making money.
Yeah, but Monster Hunter isn't so focused on the past. Although again, maybe they'll run out
of the same fucking game for like the past 20 years. Yeah, no offense, guys.
It's just like the core concept of Monster Hunter. You know, you kill a monster, you make gear from that monster, you kill a bigger monster.
Yeah,
it's Monster just the standard treadmill that you run on in Monster
Hunter is a gameplay loop.
Every game always innovates the mechanics surrounding that. Like in Rise, they added all new like movement options with the wire bug, which shook up the gameplay massively.
To be fair, I wasn't really. I'm exaggerating when I say it's the same game. I have played lots of Monster Hunters. I'm tired of them. If they add new mechanics or new bugs, personally, I'm not interested in seeing the new monsters, the returning monsters. I'm a little bit over Monster Hunter. That's why I'm saying that. So it's a little unfair for me to generalize that hard. It's the same thing with Resident Evil. Like, you could say, well, they're only really adding in first person or whatever, and that's fair.
I guess to me, I would love. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm like, I would be fine if they remade 5. I'd be fine if they remade 6. I'd be fine if they remade 7. I would be fine if they remade 8. But at a certain point, you have to ask, what new thing are we getting that is legitimately worth getting that we didn't already have? Like, how much novelty are we adding here to justify a remake? And I think that's the question you have to start asking yourself. Like, are you making plot changes? Are you making graphics changes? Are you making mechanics changes? At what point is the line between, okay, this is just a remaster, and at what point is like, this is actually worthy of the term remake? And again, is this quote-unquote remake really necessary? I ask this all the time with movies. Like, that was how I felt about Hocus Pocus 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I don't think, but I guess my point was that, like, there wasn't, I think there needed to be more there for a complete movie on the level of the first one. Everything else I feel like is reductive in a certain sense.
I think that they are sort of locked in with it's such a fine line they have to walk.
And that's the problem. Like if you do something people already like, if you fuck up one thing, or even if it's a small change, you're just gonna get pooped on. And I'm like, what? Then you just
Which is why I'm saying that they're adding in new areas and certain things that were not in the original game. And that is the only thing that is currently giving me hope in terms of, this game being somewhat different, because it's like Back to the Future 2, man. Everybody just wants Back to the Future, but a little bit different, Is Back to the Future 2 good as 1? Probably not, but I would be curious to see what I'm thinking, what I'm worried about is it going to be as fun gameplay wise as the first game? That's all I care about. What new mechanics? I don't know. What new weapons? But we'll find out.
So, do you remember was it John Tron who does sequelitis? Who started sequelitis?
I believe it is Egoraptor.
Egoraptor. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it was Egoraptor, it wasn't John Tron. So like I question if like remakes have become the new sequelitis. You know what I mean? It's just like, what, did we need this? Was this novel enough that this needed to be done? I don't know. That's my question. Like, I honestly think the VR remake of 4 was the most interesting thing done in 4 in years. And I question if this new game is gonna have like as much cool new stuff to be like, yes, this is worth it.
Look, they would be crazy not to remake Resident Evil 4. Like, you have to think about it. It is one of the best-selling Resident Evil games of all time. It's one of the best video games of all time.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I have to say that because I don't know. Everybody has a different opinion on which one's the best.
Yeah.
It's on. Look at all the consoles. It's on PS2. It's on GameCube. It's on.
It's every Gen 3 console or later, right?
It's on VR. It's on PC. It's on the Wii, right? Like, you can play it in so many different ways, right?
Yep.
And it's like, it still sells. They're like, oh well, it's still selling. Like, well, why don't we just remake it? Like, people were disappointed in 3. Let's just do it again. And then
why were they disappointed in 3? I think there wasn't enough meat from the first game.
It's because ironically 3 suffered the same fate as the original 3, which was Resident Evil 3 was rushed after Resident Evil 2 was successful. So Resident Evil 2 Remake was successful, so they rushed Resident Evil 3 Remake.
Wasn't it originally
Nemesis
just supposed to be
also
DLC?
suffered from the same problems in both versions of the game. He's not really a threat. Nemesis is just kind of there for you to knock down and get some free shit out of and then move on.
He's a threat if you mess up real bad. And so I'll put it this way. The Nemesis system, or like Mr. X or whatever. I know Mr. X was a nightmare at times.
Yeah, he was way more of a threat, but his system was more thought out. Because he could show up anywhere. Whereas Nemesis, once again, literally just has, he's going to be here, here, here. Not here, not here, not here, and then here.
Mr. X will not necessarily show up anywhere, but he'll show up like let's say
like comparatively, right? Like, you could encounter him in a spot where you've never encountered him before. With Nemesis, that's just not a thing. He has his scripts where he is, and that's it.
Yeah, but I think from what I understand, in the first game, he could do more than he could even do in the remake, which I'm just like, what? Like, he was more mobile. He would show up in more random spots. Whereas in the new game, he's just like, I think 2 or 3 scripted encounters. I was a little mad about how little he shows up in the new game, to be honest.
Talking about 3?
What?
Yeah, in the new Resident Evil 3.
That's Nemesis, not X.
Oh, sorry.
He's confusing 1, 2, and 3 a little bit.
He is, yeah.
Well, I'm just
saying I'm mad he doesn't. I think who's the one in 3? Is it Nemesis?
Yeah, it's Nemesis.
Yeah, I think Nemesis shows up more in the original 3 than he shows up in the new one. Which in the new one, it's just
that's because there's cut content.
Yeah,
he was already scripted in the original 3.
Well, anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there has to be. I don't think it needs to be remade. I think it's perfect the way it is. But
No.
am I still interested to see what they're gonna do with this new version?
Yeah.
Yes. Do I like the way it looks? Yeah, I think it looks great. I think I am excited for the new content. I love Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Once you start honestly, I will sometimes forget how much I love that game, and then I'll come back to it and I'll want to play through it again. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that, you know, like just gets to know a game and then plays it over and over and over again. Yeah. That bores me.
What do you think of I'm gonna call it August's theory of adaptive media.
Sure.
It's not really a fully fleshed out theory.
I'm down.
But essentially, if you're gonna make a adaptation, say a reboot of something that is already good in its original form, you have to make one very distinct, very different choice. You have to put your one stamp on it that's different. And you have to take responsibility for that stamp. If people don't like it, they don't like it. But you have to do one big thing that's different. And have a reason for why you changed it.
Okay. So, like, are you asking me what I would change to make it like one giant jump differently? I think that's a better question.
You can answer me that, but I'm like, what do you think of the fact that I believe in media adaptation, where the good thing is already great? Anytime you go to adapt a good thing that's already great, you have to make one big change and just go with it.
That's really tough. Because it seems like they already have the formula down, and it hasn't really failed them so far. Right. They could add a nemesis system, but I mean, I don't know. That would probably kill the vibes of 4. What would it be? What if they? I could say something easy like add co-op. Like, I could say that, and you know, like, you could play with a friend.
Ashley stuff to do.
Yeah, you could give Ashley stuff to do. That's actually one thing that I think they could get rid of, is the whole Ashley stuff. And like, have her be a better CPU. And I think I would be happy with that. You know,
can I weigh in now?
Sure. Hop in.
Feel free to
as another RE head. All right. So for 4, I am actually excited. For me personally, it doesn't have to do anything like vastly different. It doesn't have to tell a new story. It doesn't have to add like a bunch of new story threads or anything like that. Because I feel like RE4 is just such a like complete little package that changing it can only end in disaster.
Really, what they're like playing a fine line where if all they had to do is just add more content, and that's all they really need to do to make it a better game.
They could add some bonus content at the end or something. I don't know.
No, I think
but if they do anything,
no, sorry, you go.
They can modify the Ashley escort, because the Ashley escort has not aged well at all. Like
AI,
you literally put her in a dumpster.
Yeah, you do. Exactly. It's a nothing, right? Like, they could do so much more. She could be like more active, like Ellie in like Last of Us or something, where she can actually be doing things.
Or Elizabeth.
I think it'd be nice to actually like elevate this character rather than just have, oh, here, you go sit in this pot, and I'm gonna go clear this room, and then I'll tell you when to come back.
A damsel in distress.
Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite throws you ammo.
Yeah, but she's just kind of like a plot point plus an ammo machine.
I
also wasn't a big fan of, but at least, you know, she couldn't just run in and die. That was great. I like that.
Quint, remember when we did the survival horror tier list, and in BioShock Infinite wasn't even on there?
Yeah, like
it wasn't even on there. Well, I think it's because they don't even consider it a survival horror game. It's just literally just a shooter.
What is it? BioShock Infinite is an adventure game. The first 2 BioShocks are horror games, maybe.
Yeah,
Infinite's definitely just an adventure game.
I think they're like kind of.
I didn't like Infinite personally.
I actually did, weirdly enough.
I'll eat that bullet of just not like an Infinite and take it as it will, because I felt like the story was contrived, complicated for no real reason. The characters were fairly flat outside of Elizabeth. The twist wasn't much of a twist, and the whole world felt, I guess, empty compared to other BioShocks, which is weird considering I was so excited for it when it was like revealed, you know. But anyway, back to Resident Evil. I want to see pretty ass Resident Evil 4. Just give me pretty ass Resident Evil 4 and I'm happy. I don't mind that it hasn't been like that long. I just love to always see a game from the past like brought forward with like new graphics and made all beautiful, you know? It just warms my heart to know that like, hey, you actually still give a shit about this game. Thank you for, you know, bringing it back.
I got it. Hold on, I got it. So you know who what they could do to make the game better? Add more Miguel sections.
Dude, Miguel was pretty cool.
Not Miguel,
what?
Yeah,
Miguel.
Not Miguel. Who am I thinking of?
Who's the Latin guy who helps him? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. I know who you're talking about.
Carlos,
but it's not Miguel.
No. Oh, is it? Oh, let me see. Luis Serra.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, Luis Serra. My God, Resident Evil 3.
RV3, yeah.
Yeah. Bring him back. Add more sections because he's a great character.
Yeah, we could have more for him.
He needs more backstory. He really does.
We could have more from Ashley. You know what? Give me some more collectibles. Yeah. Why not, right? Like have me some more medallions to hunt down. That's always
it would be
fun.
Interesting if they designed playable sections for Ashley and Louise that weren't like just jokes.
I just don't know what you would really do as Ashley.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would have to be smart.
Since
it would
Ashley's
have to be like
such a nothing character, right?
That's
like
what I'm saying.
Ashley's entire character is damsel in distress, president's daughter.
Yeah,
that is Ashley. That is her.
So like in Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man game, they have the whole Mary Jane sections where you have to go around and gather evidence. I'm not saying they do something like that, but I mean there could be.
Yeah, but Mary Jane has a more like active character than Ashley. Ashley is literally just a nothing.
Yeah, but you could add like traditional horror game stealth sections where like she has to make it through an area by herself. And like she has to do more traditional horror things. Like if you don't hide at this instance, you get got. You know what I mean?
I think they could easily add it. So in RE2 Remake, they have sections with the kid, in a child who's like running away from a guy where you have to like hide and stuff like that. They could easily do that with her.
Yeah, they could. Yeah.
And I think they do have one section that's similar to that where, but anyway,
if they made her less chicken shit, they could totally have those sections. Because as it is now, if she sees one guy, she's like, "No, I can't go that way."
So I guess my final wrap up question is like, so are these reboots or remakes or whatever we're calling them now? I don't even fucking know.
They're all different. Remakes are remade from the ground up. Remasters are like updated, right? And then reboots are re-envisionings of a basic franchise.
I know, man. I think it's all kind of gotten blended, but
not even close.
The term should mean different things.
Plus, we've already had the remaster for Resident Evil 4. It's on Steam, and it's gorgeous.
I agree. Okay, so my
Best way to play the game.
My final question here is that are they in the same universe as the original game? Is this an updated universe? Is there something different? Like what's going on here? Does it not really matter? Does it just replace the original game canon-wise? Does canon even matter anymore?
I don't think
I think it's just going to be a retelling of the game.
I don't think it's like a...
I don't think we need to innovate. I don't think we need to
Did 2 change anything about the canon? I could have sworn 2 did.
Not really.
No, they made the main character a little bit more of a badass, but that's about it.
Characters?
Yeah, the main characters. A little more of a badasses, but like that's about it.
So there weren't any canon changes to our Resident Evil lore, because I could have sworn there were some like out of event sequence things or something else.
I mean, things.
I'd have to double check.
Certain things are like
some
are
of the
missing.
Birkin stuff. I could have sworn some of the Birkin stuff was different, but I could be wrong.
It's just not like anything that's like that affects the story in like any kind of important way. It's not like a lot of
the. Meet Sherry at a different time.
Make Sherry at a different time.
I think you meet Sherry at a different time.
I don't remember, but there also is like, I don't think that the spots with a lot of Claire's stuff happen with Sherry, like where she's like carrying Sherry or following her.
Yeah,
I don't think those are in the game, but the original. But no, I don't think it really like overly affects like anything that's currently happening in the story. So or anything that's even happening in 4, because after 3 the whole kind of like T-virus stuff kind of just goes away. And it's sort of, so right now in 4 we're dealing with Los Plagas, which is like a different type of virus altogether than and so that, which is why, what's up?
It's injected in their blood and
yeah, it's a Los Plagas.
It's a weaponized virus. It's a weaponized virus.
Which becomes like where they have like the BCAA or the Biohazard Protection Agency or something like that. Which is where Resident Evil 5 comes in, and then that's also 6, and so on and so forth. And they have like aspects in 7 and 8 as well with Chris Redfield, but it's not terribly important to our overarching story. So it's like maybe the first 3 games, but I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, first 3 and Code Veronica.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I disagree with Quinn. I think the lines between a reboot, a remake, and a remaster are kind of blurring, and I always kind of question. At the end of the day, it's like, did this need to be made when it's so easy to go back and play the old one? But again, it isn't technically on consoles. I don't know if 4 is playable.
But wouldn't you like to just have a prettier version of your old game?
It's a great.
I can be a graphics whore, right? Like I love me some pretty ass graphics. Like I can play like old stuff. That's just
playing
a new
graphics.
pretty game. It's nice.
It cost me more money, and did we add anything worth playing that the original game got right already? But anyways.
I mean, I will. Yeah, I'll definitely wait before I buy it. But anyway, guys, August, do you want to close this out?
Yeah. So, long story short, me and Quint added like 1 or 2 things from the upcoming week. Now we almost pretty much don't have time.
No,
we don't have time. We're done, dude.
We're done.
We're donesies, guys.
No, we gotta cut it. Okay, we'll wrap it up another week.
Tend to stop at 8.
Check out the Simpsons Halloween episode. That's all I'm recommending. Anyway, so yeah, this has been cool. It's been nice being back on the Comcast after being away for 2 weeks. I think maybe technically 3 for me. I feel like it's been a while, but cool to be back. You can find me here on the podcast, or on Reddit, out there doing research sometimes. Matt, where can they find you?
They can find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We're on Twitch. We're on TikTok. We're on anywhere you can find podcasts. It's a Backlog Podcast. Give us 5 stars. Free follow and star helps the channel, guys, and it helps us get discovered each more every day. So yeah. Quint, where can people find you?
You can find me just streaming over at twitch.tv/QuintessenceHD, occasionally posting on my Twitter, also QuintessenceHD, and that's really just about it. I'm hoping to expand to like Instagram and possibly YouTube, but we'll see how those go.
Hey. All right, guys. Well, this has been the Backlog Podcast number 37. We'll see you soon. Peace out, y'all.
Take care.
Bye-bye.